welcome back to You Know Who. I'm your host, Brian Hines. It's time for a new season of Doctor Who. The second, or is that 14th season? Look, I'm going to be honest, my personal life is a little bit busy right now, so the production values are going to go down a bit. Hopefully someday soon we'll return to the TARDIS Blue Couch, but for now, less skits. I'm going to try and do 2 episodes on every show to get us caught up. With that in mind, the robots are revolting.
You said it. They stink on ice.
Shut up. It's time for a new companion and a new season-long plot thread. This is the Robot Revolution. Going forward, I'm just going to assume that you've seen the episodes, and we're going to assume that I don't have to recap the entire plot for you. The basic story is that a bunch of robots arrive on Earth, taking away Belinda Chandra, a nurse who bears a striking resemblance to Officer Mundy from last season's episode Boom. An ex-boyfriend once bought her a star, and thousands of years in the future, the sun and planet are named after her, so the robots believe her to be their rightful owner. The Doctor is one step behind.
Seen me.
And Mrs. Flood is back. But she's not a Time Lord. The robots have conquered the planet and enslaved the human population, leading to much death and suffering. The Doctor helps Belinda escape, but his friend Sasha 55 is killed. He's heartbroken. Apparently there is a fracture in space and time. That's why there are 2 versions of the same deed. One belonging to Belinda, one belonging to the AI, and the robot's logical mind can't reconcile that. But if she marries their AI, then all is well. Belinda eventually believes that the only way to stop the humans from suffering is to surrender herself. But she and the Doctor find out that the AI is actually Al. Alan, her ex-boyfriend, and paragon of toxic masculinity. While being abducted, she blamed us all on her ex-boyfriend Alan, who originally bought the deed to the star. When they went through the time fracture, that allowed the robots to go back and grab him, but he arrived on the planet first before being welded into the supercomputer. Belinda cleverly touches her deed to his, invoking the often-cited, but usually ignored, Blinovitch limitation effect, and releasing waves of quantum energy. She sees a vision of herself as an old woman while he's reduced to a zygote and hoovered up by a cleaning bot. 9 months later, that cleaning bot gave birth to a human who still sucked. The Doctor believes their meeting is no coincidence and scans her DNA to match her to Mundy Flynn in 3,000 years in the future. But the lack of permission asking on his part pisses off Belinda, who's already seen his companion Sasha die. He's too dangerous to be around and she just wants to go home. Apologetic and a bit rejected, the Doctor tries. But the TARDIS can't seem to land on May 24th, 2025. He can't take her home. And as the TARDIS dematerializes, we see... Statue of Liberty. That was our world! Damn you! Damn you, Walter! It's a mirror if we've been here before. Yeah, well. So that was the Robot Revolution. But before we get to Lux, let's take a closer look at the first episode of this new season, shall we? This was a pretty good season opener. It sets up the season-long mystery, why can't we return Belinda home? And gives us a newer take on why the companion is traveling with the Doctor. They literally can't go home, although one does wonder why the Doctor just doesn't take her to May 23rd and tell her to lay low for 24 hours. Shooty's grief over Sasha's death was palpable. He does some very good emoting here. And there's also a nice counterpoint with Verada. He's always go, 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 and she calls him out on that when he scans her without permission. When she says she doesn't want to travel with him, he's obviously very disappointed, as that's a rare reaction, but you can see him tamper down his enthusiasm because he has to do right by the people he saves, even at his own cost. It's different to have the Doctor and companion thrown together by circumstance rather than choice, at least in the new series. I'm enjoying this dynamic and the slow build to their eventual partnership. The story itself was fine. Toxic masculinity equals bad, message received. I felt the robots were too goofy looking. They're big and armed, yet also they look like a 1950s wind-up toy. I really couldn't take them seriously. That said, Alan's makeup was horrifying. He looks diabolical. His character comes off as a bit of an idiot who willfully binds himself into a computer because he thinks it's going to be like a video game. Like, what the hell, dude? So a good setup for the establishment of both the new TARDIS team dynamic and the overall plot for season... whatever. Set against an okay story with villains who needed a little more menace in their style. I give The Robot Revolution 3 out of 5 TARDISes. But wait, there's more, as we dive head into episode 2, Lux. This episode takes place primarily in a 1952 Florida movie theater. Strange moonlight gets reflected onto a cartoon film strip and its star, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, literally walks off the screen attacking the audience. The Doctor and Belinda are starting to open up to one another. He brings up Gallifrey but won't go into why they can't go back there, and she mentions wanting to return to her parents. They land outside that movie theater. The Doctor will send energy beams into May 24th, 2025, and then he'll use all those signals from various times and points to guide the TARDIS into that date and take Belinda home. But of course, the chained up movie theater is just a little too enticing, and they find out that 15 people went missing there. But the projectionist, Mr. Pi, is still inside playing films. The Doctor and Belle, as he nicknames her, enter into the theater and meet Mr. Ring-a-Ding. He keeps dropping his catchphrase, "Don't make me laugh."
Who are you?
Don't make me laugh, because it sounds like this.
Behold Lux Imperator, God of Light. He trapped the audience in film strips and feeds on the light from the movies. He bribed Mr. Pine to play in those movies by bringing back his dead wife out of a home movie. He traps the heroes in a film strip as cartoons, but when they start revealing truths about themselves, Gallifrey is gone, Belinda doesn't think the Doctor can get her home, they gain depth and become more real. Eventually, by literally breaking through the fourth wall, they encounter a trio of Doctor Who fans.
What's your favourite adventure?
Blink.
Definitely Blink.
Blink. Every time.
Love and Blink. The fans remind them that Lux telegraphed the ending by saying how flammable film stock is. They return home, and Lux sees the Doctor heal via regeneration. He can use the Doctor's light to become real and starts to harvest that regeneration energy. Belinda goes to burn the film, but it takes a vision of Mr. Pye's late wife to convince him to do the right thing, and he sets the film on fire. The film causes an explosion, saving the Doctor and exposing Lux to sunlight. All that energy is a little too much for Lux, and he grows enormous and insubstantial, diffusing amongst the stars. The captured audience is released from their film, and as the Doctor leaves, Mrs. Flood comes out and points out the TARDIS dematerializing. Again, she hints that this will all end on May 24th, 2025. But she's not a Time Lord. Oh, and the Who nerds still exist. Yay! Well, that was a lot for the second episode. And what was Mr. Ring-a-Ding? Some sort of blue pig? Well, we may never know what he was, but we can take a moment to analyze this episode. What a terrible transition. Well, I think we can safely say that the BBC has increased the budget for Doctor Who this year. First off, the costumes and sets are amazing. Looking authentic, especially that movie theater auditorium. Plus, some really nice guest stars. That's Linus Roach from Law & Order as Mr. Pye, and Mr. Ring-a-Ding is our old friend, King James I, a.k.a. Alan Cumming. Did not sound even a little bit like him, so kudos to some very impressive voice work there, Alan. The visual effect of a walking, talking cartoon was handled very well. He almost looks cel-animated, though this is a case of CGI and not traditional animation. Story-wise, we get a few good beats. We're introduced to the Vindicators, which will be the ongoing plot device for this season to help return Belinda home. And Mrs. Flood is apparently the new Susan Triad for the season, showing up in cameos wherever and being different people, but she's not a Time Lord. Anyway, we do see the rift between the Belle and the Doctor heal a bit as she begins to trust him more and see the good he does in his adventures, as well as doing the new companion housekeeping of explaining what happened to Gallifrey. That said, there wasn't too much heavy lifting from them acting-wise. They were pretty much reacting to the situation. Although the actor and actress who play Mr. Pye and Mrs. Lindstrom do get some nice emotional moments out there. I like this story a lot, especially meeting the Who nerds and continuing Ncuti's Doctor's ongoing battle against the gods of chaos. I give Lux 4 out of 5 TARDISes. My friends, before we finish up here, can I please ask that you like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the bell for notifications, and please check out my Patreon page. It's patrons like you who help these videos get made. And that's it for now, my friends. I'll see you back here next time for more adventures when we return to an old planet and an old friend. Until then, this is You Know Who, and I'm your host, Brian Hines.